All right, let's go. Wiggy, wiggy, wiggy. Everybody get up on Sunday morning. Let's go. I got to be here. You got to be here too. Oh, all right. Let's see here. Ooh, it is windy and warm outside. It's almost 70 degrees already. It's a whole thing. Hey, Emino, how you doing? Kyle keeps leaving the banner up. Okay, here we go. That's better. We don't need to be reminded of that score. That is for sure. We do not need to be reminded of last night. In fact, that's kind of what Maurice said, right? Basically, was he didn't want to talk about how we played because he felt like it almost would kind of be disrespectful to how well Montreal played. What's that? Keymaster says even the Habs creators roasting the Panthers play. It was bad. It was bad. Hey Vincent, how you doing, bud? Yeah, welcome to the favorite. You're just lucky I'm here, cesspool. I was out, and Don and I haven't strayed very far from the bedroom this morning. We was tired, and old people. A lot of loose pucks out in front. Just the constant giveaways. Just absolutely brutal with the giveaways. I mean, you hate to say it, right? Because you hate to say they're not trying, but it's just the lack of care was so obvious. Oh boy, I don't think that's going to go over too well, Rosado. You had to do that when Kyle's here. You had to do that when Kyle's here. So, and then we got to play again tonight. And that's, the shirt. Yeah. You're going to need a bigger boat. This one's comfy. Sometimes they get too tight up in my chest area and shoulders, but this one's comfy. Nick. So we got to play the Islanders tonight. Now they're not going to lose to the Islanders, right? Right. Let me crack this window open. I left the heater on in here again. We're not going to lose to the Islanders. That can't happen. Okay, that should get some. Ooh, boy. It is just constantly windy. Ugh. Vincent says this is Sharks territory. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. My thoughts exactly. So let's look at these standings. It was getting crazy last night, and I think by the end of the night, Ottawa was in first place, I believe, and we're not even in the playoffs anymore. At least that was kind of what I thought the reaction was. So now the Lightning and Leafs are 4 points behind us. Senators are 4 points behind them. And then the wild card is the Rain. After all this time, stinking Rangers in the wild card. You got the Rangers at 72, Canadians at 71, the Jackets at 70. They are fallen. The Wings and Bruins at 68, Islanders, Penguins at 66, and even the Flyers are less than 10 points out. Not that they're going to make it, but when does Montreal play New York? Let's see. When does Montreal play New York? The Rangers. Do they play the Rangers? Do they play? No. So there's no head-to-head between Montreal and the Rangers the rest of the way. The good news for the Canadians is they still play Florida 2 more times. So that's 4 points. They play Ottawa on Tuesday, though. I think Kyle and I are going to try to cover that game. Boulevard says the Panthers are not the Bruins. They aren't going to lose to the Senators in the second last game of the season and gift wrap the division to another team and play the Leafs, even though that's a first round bye. Greg says Rags will get in because the NHL needs eyeballs watching TV or streaming. Well, to Bolvar's point, I mean, a 4-point lead is pretty good, but it's not untouchable, right? It's not untouchable. And how many we play Ottawa that one time, but they've gotten so hot. It's at some point Montreal, Ottawa's going to have to cool off a little bit, right? Because he says Canadians going to sweep the season series against the Panthers. Oh no. It seems like we play a special brand of I don't give a F against Montreal. Like both games against Montreal, we have just like Montreal is playing their game, man. They're playing good, they're playing hard, they're playing fast. And it's like we're not even trying to match it. It really is like both games are like, oh, whatever, man. I'm tired. Let the kid win a game. And I know that that's not exactly what it is. And I think that's kind of why Maurice didn't want to talk about it last night, because it sounds like you're disparaging Canadians, and I'm not. It's just other than Bennett and Samoskevich and Samoskevich and Samoskevich, I don't think anybody on that team cared last night. And, the two guys that are playing for contracts, right? Anybody concerned that Jesper Boquist got awfully quiet once he got his contract? Anybody concerned about that at all? Rosado, I never really watched the fireworks. The fireworks was the time when it was good to get out of the park before the crowd got out. You see how Lane placed this shot. Yeah, they kept giving it to him over and over and over again until he got it. Yeah. It was bad effort all the way around. Craig says, and Barkey being a no-show versus the Habs is kind of weird. He normally goes off. I wonder if he's sick again. He just looks disinterested. Like they all kind of look disinterested. Definitely no wishes. Illuminations, we watch it for a couple of minutes. But when you got 2 and 3 kids, Rosado, that's a good time to get the hell out of the park. You get in, you get in line for the boat, or you get in line for the tram, to Montreal. You know what I mean? It'll cut a half hour off your night if you leave then. And we'd already at that point been there all day long. We're ready to go, especially if we're with the kids. You got to get to the hotel. But the Islanders, of course, now who's going to be in net for them? I'm going to assume we're going to get Vanacek tonight. I hope we get to see him a few more times. It's not like Bob looks like he's a problem, but I don't really appreciate them putting Bob out there when the effort's going to be like that. Greg says, hope he's not hurting out there because Chucky and Ekblad are out. It's a good point. Physically he looks okay. We all know the difference between Barkov when he's going off and putting in the work and just out there living off of his talent level alone. You know what I mean? Vincent is waiting for Marchand to get back into the lineup or get into the lineup. I would assume like the last week, right? We're already at the 16th. And is he even on the road trip with us? I don't know. Nah, it wasn't even like $70 from Rosado. It was like 50. It was like $50. Bulwar says watching the Leafs lose yesterday was really funny. Why is that? Now they're in third place, right? Marchand went to Boston, but I don't know when they said he was going to go to Boston, the way it was worded was that they know he's going to at least go to Boston on this trip, but they weren't sure if he was going to travel with the team the rest of the way. I guess maybe because it's not, no sense in him dragging ass all over Canada if he can't play, right? With the back-to-backs and all that travel, maybe it was just better for him to just stay home and rest and rehab. Bowler says, because Steve went on a rant saying the Leafs were in the same situation before and lost every game at the end but 2 and missed the playoffs. I don't know if they can miss the playoffs. I don't think they're in danger of that. Where are we? 81. That's tough. No, they could end up as the wild card. The Senators could catch them, right? How many Toronto Ottawa games do we have? I know we got let's see. We're looking at Senators Leafs here, Jaws. So why did I think Montreal was playing? What was the game that I thought was on Tuesday? Did they play again at all? No. There's no more head-to-heads. So that's going to be a little bit difficult for Ottawa to come up and beat them, I think. Oh, no, it's Montreal. Montreal plays Ottawa on Tuesday. That's what it is. Vincent says he practiced with the team yesterday. He's with the team. All right, well, then that answers that question. Okay. There's a Habs streamer that lives where? In down here near where I live or down South Florida? Because that would both be down from where Montreal is. Oh, you're saying lives down here, so that would be down there with you guys. Gotcha. Kachuk also walks around with them, Mr. Rehab. No, Spaceman, I haven't seen it. It's weird. The way that YouTube sends me videos, like any other subject, if I watch somebody, I consistently get their videos sent to my feed. But and including football for the most part. But with hockey, like I watched a couple of Steve Dangle things around when we were playing Toronto, and then nothing else has shown up in my feed in a couple of days. Bolvar says, do I think the suspension kills Ekblad's market value and forces him to accept the take it or leave it deal with Florida? Let me see. No, because somebody will pay him. Somebody, I think he was already going to be in that position anyway. In case you guys didn't catch it, they said that Bennett and the team had started negotiations again for a contract. So I don't think that that's a coincidence that Ekblad gets the suspension and now the team suddenly wants to start negotiating with Bennett again. I think maybe there's a little bit of extra money there now. Maybe we have room to move a little bit if the team has decided to move on from Ekblad. What's going to happen with him? I don't know. I mean, it could very well be that they let him walk over this and just not even offer him a contract after. I mean, to get caught doing this under these circumstances right now, when, the team is just going all out, Viola and Zito going all out to just try to repeat again. Ekblad doing this hurts the team. It hurts us leading up to the playoffs. I just don't know how Viola's going to handle that. NHL says, hey, Jaws, I'm ready for your Islanders to get whooped tonight. Yeah, unfortunately, you guys might be the beneficiary of the poor game that we played last night. Hey, Derek. Hey, David. Yeah, we were a bit off the whole game except for some part of the second period. Skating hard, but lots of missed passes. Pretty much. Forsling looks exhausted out there, honestly. Like in the games that are important, he's showing up. But these guys just look a little cooked right now. You know, the Four Nations, we didn't get a break, right? And we came out of the Four Nations super hot. But now I think it's starting to maybe catch up with a few guys. He says, X too good. A lot of teams need a great defenseman. I didn't ban him, Vincent. I just deleted the comment. Hey, Frank. Yeah, I agree with Rosado there. Please re-sign Nico Sturm. I agree there. Here he says, there's always adversity. If we get Chucky back, the only team we need to worry about is the Caps. Well, the physicality of playing Ottawa and then Tampa that's not going to be easy, especially Ottawa. Caps speaking too early, maybe. I mean, there's got to be some regression to the mean for them anyway. Frank says, Forsling, Barkov, Reinhart, and Bennett need rest big time. We're going to run out of gas. Hey, SoFlo. Certainly, Forsling losing Ekblad right now was just not. And I know Jones is taking the minutes. I know that's happening. It just doesn't look like it's obviously not going to be the same. The communication level between Forsling and Ekblad, you're definitely seeing different positioning. You know, it's definitely noticeably different. Visitors, Caps, Rangers, first round looks interesting. Tampa, Senators, too. Tampa Senators could be, I don't know. Who knows how that's going to be? Just like who knows? So you think Vincent, you think Toronto's going to end up with the wild card? You think Tampa's going to win the division? Amen, Praga. Yeah, they took it to us. They had to jump. We just didn't respond. Montebo is better than Bob. Monty's been playing well. There's no doubt. Boy, Bob's save percentage probably took a ding last night. 3 goals on 15 shots or something. David says if we can play the way we played in Toronto and get Chucky back, we'll be okay. I think the extra playing time will help the new guys in the playoffs. Well, it helps the new guys, but it hurts some of the older guys in a sense. Like Kulikov was getting less minutes. Now he's back on the second pair, getting more minutes. Instead of the ease for Nate Schmidt with Kulikov as his pairing, he's got Balinskis. Schmidt's not had a good couple of games since they put him back with Balinskis. I think he was just so relieved to be skating on his right side that now you could definitely tell sometimes he just, what I say last night, he looks like a drunken giraffe. Sometimes when he's skating on his offside, it don't look pretty. Brock says, starting to see how much depth we have in the bottom six. Sturm and Boquist are keepers. Well, they re-signed Boquist while I was sick a couple weeks ago. I think they gave him 2 years and 1.5. So those Montreal has been giving us trouble this year after our 11-something win streak against them. Let's get him at home next game. It's a home and away. So Flo, such a stupid schedule we have. It's such a stupid schedule we have. We play, and it's in a couple of weeks too. So on Friday the 28th, we play Utah at home. On Sunday the 30th at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, we play Montreal at home. And then April 1st in Montreal again. So we've got the Canadiens those 2 times in a row. And after the second time in a row of us playing Montreal, the next day, April 2nd, we've got Toronto. I mean, what? And then we get a couple days off and we've got Ottawa. So there's a stretch there, those 4 games. I wonder if they're thinking we're going to get Marchand back by that. We've got Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday. Montreal, Toronto, and Ottawa. And then we got the Wings. And then we got Toronto again. And then we got the Wings again. And then we finally get the Sabres and catch a break. Habs are better than the Sens. Goaltending. Can Montreal's goaltending really hold up in the playoffs? Montembeault has taken his sweet-ass time to develop, but he's turning out he's better this year than he's been. Usually we would light up Monty. Not so much anymore. Froggy says, I watched a few of the non-Panther games this year, lots of young talent. No, they're building a good team. They're eventually going to have to get, I hate to say it, a real goalie, right? They're going to have to go out and get a veteran goalie, right? I mean, no disrespect to Montembeault. They can't be thinking they're going to win a cup with him, right? I says, yeah, we talked about that a little bit with Panther. Yeah, they may as well negotiate with Bennett because now they know they're not going to be paying Aaron Ekblad $5, right? They're gonna take care of Sam Bennett now. That needs to happen. I still say whatever he wants, as long as it's not more than $8 million. I'm willing to overpay him by giving them $8 million because that keeps the team together. SoFlo says, I hate Habs fans. Maybe it's a French-Canadian thing, but my grandma, who has season tickets, has been selling her Montreal game tickets for forevers. Just rude from our experience, right? Hey, YouTuber. And then that's funny. I read that comment and then YouTubers. Hey, you guys got a good team. You guys are going to be a pain in the ass for a while, especially if you get yourself like an exceptional goalie. Montembeault. No, he's older. No. He was the guy that was supposed to take over before we got, or when we had Luongo, right? He's 28 years old. He's 28 years old, so he's coming into his prime right now. Yeah, he was supposed to be, I believe he was like in between Luongo and Bobrovsky, right? I'm scrolling down to the bottoms because I missed a lot of. We lost him in waivers. That's right. Right. Solo says they don't even know you're supposed to let the people out of the elevator before you go in. Frank says, sorry, it's not worth $8 million. I give him the Verhaeghe contract. What? But that's more. I'm confused, Frank. Yeah, I saw that, Eyes. The fastest overtime goal. Yeah, that was crazy. Fly Guy, what are you saying? Hold on a second. Let me scroll up. Did a C interviewer asked about playing in Toronto? He lit up like a kid at Christmas. And the way he talked about Sam Miskevich, he did not sound like he was planning on being on this team forever. He can retire in Montreal. He can go back next contract. You give him a 4-year deal for $8 million. You overpay him. We win another couple cups. Then he can go. He has to stay. He has to stay. Fly Guy. Yeah. No, I know. I wasn't sure what Frank was saying. about sorry is not. Oh, I don't know what you're saying. Frank said sorry is not worth $8 million. I'll give him the Verhage contract. Who are we talking about? Bolvar says, can Marchand's first goal in the playoffs be what eliminates the Leafs so I can have an amazing year? Frank says Bennett is not worth $8 million, and who's going to pay defensemen with multiple injuries and concussions? Ekblad will only go down from here. You guys are wrong on Bennett. I've said this 1,000 times. I know he's not worth $8 million. I know he's not worth $8 million. But if he wants $8 million and you have to pay him $7.5, or if you have to pay him the $8 million to keep him, you pay him. Because I don't care what anybody says, we ain't winning a cup without Sam Bennett. I know he's not worth, quotes, $8 million. On this team, under these circumstances, with the rest of the guys, he's worth the $8 million. Because number one, you keep him away from Montreal or Toronto, or wherever the hell else there's rumors he's going to go. And without him, we ain't winning a cup with Barkov, Lundell. What are you gonna do? Boquist at 3C? Yeah, you could go get somebody. Sam Bennett is a special player. You know? He's not that old. I give it to him for 4. You guys forget the cap is going up. Bobrovsky's contract is going to be lowered, if not completely off the books. You got to win now, man. Bennett's only 28. Give him 4 years. 4 by 8. If he wants longer, you give him 7. And I don't think he's going to get 8. He's probably asking 8. But yeah, we can say he's not worth it, and we can go next year, Barkov, Lundell, somebody else. And about halfway through the season, y'all going to be saying, we sure as hell miss Sam Bennett. Telling you. Especially him with Sam Miskevich, right? Especially him with Sam Miskevich. The chemistry those two are developing. That's worth, man. Hey, thank you, Wise. Thank you. Says, but Jaws, how will this help us bring back Owen Tippett? Well, if you don't give Bennett a no-move clause when you're ready to move on from Sam Bennett because you're going to let him go to Toronto, that last year you trade him to Philly for Owen Tippett. That's how. Yeah, you can make, but not long-term, right? Yeah, Frank, we agree there. We agree there. If we don't re-sign Ekblad, then yes. That's after Ekblad did what he did. To me, I say you pay Sam Bennett what he wants, and then you worry about Ekblad later. Because we already got Jones, right? Bowler says he's going to get overpaid by Ottawa like Gudis. Soplo says Bennett will be worth $8 million once we see him perform in the playoffs. Everybody hates on Bennett during the regular season. Then we see him go absolutely nuts in the playoffs. We're like, oh, okay. That's what I'm saying. It's like, I get it, but I'm not saying the cup window closes if we lose him, but the curtains you got to go through the curtains now. You know what I mean? It's just a different team with him out there. It's just a different team with him out there. I says Tippett equals multiple cups. Mike says anyone who will let Bennett walk doesn't want to win. I want to win, man. That's for sure. Frank says cap's going up $5 million next year. We're going to have like $19 million cap total. We're going to sign 8 guys with $19 million. 8. We got to get Sam. I'm just looking at the roster. We got to give Sam Miskevich, Bennett, Greer, I believe, already has a year. What about Gadjevich? He's minimum wage, right? And then defensively, Forsling, Jones, Mikula, Kulikov are already taken care of. So we've got to re-sign 2 defensemen, 2 fourth liners, Sam Bennett and Mackie Samoskevich. So if you get if you gave Bennett 8, that's 11. If you give Samoskevich 2, that's 9 for 4 more players. If you get Ekblad or Ekblad's replacement for 4, then you got $5 million for the last 3 guys. Yeah, and that's if you pay Bennett 8. Froggy says, guys, someone is going to overpay for Bennett. Well, they'll pay him. They'll pay him, overpay him to get him away from us, right? It's been reported Jaws working on an extension for Kyle at Flying Fluffy Sports Channel. I got to get him extended to the football channel. I got to get the other laptop fixed. So I don't have to give up my laptop every time Kyle wants to stream football. Of course, that's the laptop that Kyle ripped the Ethernet port out of. But I got to take it and get it fixed. Because remember, we were having all sorts of problems with the live streams here. And then I switched to this laptop, and it's fine. Jari says, we get Sordiff back to re-energize the team. I was kind of hoping he was going to get some time, but I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think, and I guarantee you we see Nosek tonight on that 4th line. Not that that's a bad thing, but I think we'll see Nosek tonight. Soflo says, Gudas for Hagee, Hornquist, and Bennett, and the deadline of the COVID year was the beginning of something great. And Forsling, right. Sam says Bennett is a cultured player. Hawks are interested in him, and they're willing to pay him anything. If the Panthers won't give a max contract, other teams will. Would I ride the new flying theater at SeaWorld? I'd have to see it. Eyes, I hear Kyle and Jaws are flower apart. Kyle wants more ice cream, and Jaws says 2 pints, kid, and that's it. Kyle wants 4. No, I was hoping Kyle gained 35 pounds during the playoffs last year with all the donuts and the ice cream. Yeah, Frank, you're right. I forgot backup goalie. You're right. You are correct, sir. I did. Thank you for reminding me. I'm so used to Spencer being there. Yeah. So Kyle was trying to lose some weight before the playoffs this year. He lost some, but he gained 35 pounds with all them donuts and ice cream last year. I, as the old man, I didn't gain any weight. It was weird because, I guess the stress with the dog. But yeah, you're right, Frank. Backup goaltender. That's a good point. It's a good point. Bulvar says the best times to get into sports seasons, no matter what sport, is the beginning, the middle, right at the All-Star regular list is the Pro Bowl, and then the end of the season right before the playoffs. Yeah. Yeah. Views always pick up, obviously, towards the end. And Praga, that's exactly right. It says it's going to be a matter of whether Bennett wants to play in Florida. You got to figure. I mean, 5 years and $8 million is probably too much. You know what I mean? If he wants term, I mean, giving him 8 years is too much. 6, like if you gave him 6 years at $7 million, 6 years, he'd be 34 at the end of the contract. That might be palatable. That's the edge. That's the edge of it. But obviously, he wants something more than $6 million, I would assume, or it would have been done and over with by now. You know what I mean? It's got to be something where it's. Pente says 7.5 is max. Grace says Vanny is auditioning for the backup spot. Yeah, if he wants it for cheap, he's going to have to take a pay cut. He wants for Hagee money. Well, honestly, like, what if you just traded for Hagee and put Samoskevich in for Hagee's spot and then you had plenty of money to pay Bennett and go get another defenseman other than Aaron Ekblad. What if you just moved Verhaeghe? Did he get a no-move clause? Did Verhaeghe get a no-move clause? Because Sam Miskevich is fixing to be a 40-goal guy here real soon. Mike says it's all about Chucky and Barkov. We had them till 2030. You do anything to win right now. Period. Yeah, I kind of agree with Mike. Yeah, so Swaggy got a no-move clause. Frank says, I'm on Puck Peter right now trying to figure out next year's cap. Unfortunately, one of Eki or Bennett has to go just to make a 23-man roster. Now that we have Jones. Yeah. Jones. Yeah. So Brian says, hey, Jaws, remember Holly Guacamole? She's napping right now, but I'm going to ask her to marry me this week after her Panthers win. Outstanding, brother. Good luck. Good luck, man. Good luck. I mean that. I don't mean it. I don't mean that in sarcastic. I don't mean that sarcastic. Yeah. Y'all. Hey, I got a question. Hey, I got a question. I can't say this loud, so I'll give you a second. So, if I was going to have a wedding, how many of you would be willing to drive to Melbourne, Florida to attend the wedding? Hey, Rosado 58. I'm in all. You live 30 minutes from Melbourne. It's basically a 10-minute walk. Oh, all right, Mike. Well, that's one negative. That's cool. It's not yet. It's not yet. Not yet. Way too far from up north. Well, yeah. Kate. Yeah, I'm generally speaking to the, the South Florida people. When the time comes, if that's the way it goes, yeah, Rosado. Yeah, if it happens, yes. Canada ball. Oh man. That's okay, Guy DK. Rosado, maybe you'll be old. Maybe. It's because that's where my parents live, right? So if Zito manages to re-sign Bennett, I'm in. All right, Mike, that's cool. That's fair. That makes sense. That tracks. Yeah. My parents live in Melbourne. So that's why I don't know if my dad can get from Melbourne to Miami. I don't know how his health is and riding in the car with his back and everything. Oh my God, get married at the practice rink, David. Huh. I hadn't thought about that. But David might have a point there. Maybe if my dad can make it down there, he's got a bad back, and he doesn't like to drive any distances because of his heart. But if he felt like he could make it, that might not be a bad idea. We'll just get him drunk and put him in the back seat. He won't even know the difference. Did we invite Bill Zito? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly, Canada Ball. I definitely will. I expect a good gift from Ekblad too. All right. I definitely expect a gift from Ekblad. And Mackey. If it wasn't for me, he'd still be on the fourth line. It's a joke. Invite Doug Sifu. Yeah. We used to have conversations. Yeah, I just invite the entire organization, except we have to leave somebody out just to make it funny. Ah, Kate. Yeah. Wondering Matthew wouldn't be here. Well, he just needs to bring the cup when they win again. He just needs to bring the cup when they win again. Invite Stanley C and Victory Rat. It'd be interesting to see if they would participate, if the team would participate with that at all. Right? When I won the trophy, when I won the Upper Deck Fan Award, it took about 5 retweets and a lot of tagging to get Doug Sifu to at least acknowledge. I don't think that they were happy that I was the Panthers fan representative. I think they wanted it to be super fan Matt, and he won it the next year. I didn't. I only ran the one time. Yeah, right. Yeah, Randy Moeller. Yeah, get Randy Moeller to. Yeah, that's a good idea, Praga. Right. Hey, Paul says it's Ekblad's and Marchand's fault we lost tonight. Nah, just Ekblad. Just Ekblad. I can't blame it on Marchand. Ekblad really screwed us right now. Yeah, invite Branson. Yeah. Donna wouldn't like what, Rosado? Oh, don't invite Katie? Nah, she's not like that. She's not like that. She's not like that. You know? That was one of the first things that we talked about, was that, you know, there's women on the channel too, and they send me money, and no, I'm not doing anything crazy for the money like that. So what Frank say? Frank says, I tried to rent screen time for a proposal at the Panthers game in the playoffs this year, and the first words out of my mouth when I heard the time, oh, jeez. Yeah, maybe Lindsay. With the price, yeah. Damn. That figures, Frank. If it's too expensive for Frank, that's crazy. Shamu jumping if it happens at the beach. No, but I don't mind that. It's not a bad idea. So Matthew, we don't know yet when he's going to play. Not really sure when he's going to play. Apparently he's practicing with the team though. So LR says Eki will bring me some supplements. Yeah. Hey, I'm 53. Paul. Hold on, Paul. Hold on. There you go. Let's go. All right, David. Appreciate it. Yeah, Eki needs to bring me some of whatever he's been juicing. Right? I'm 53. I'd be 54 by the time we'd pull off that wedding. It's all in good fun, though. You never know. Well, I do know. Let's put it this way. That's what I want to do. Whether or not I'm going to be able to afford to do it or not depends on some of these other business ventures we've got. But yeah, that's what I would like to do. It'd be fun. You know what I mean? Why not? And then we're in an area where it's, honeymoonable. We can just get on one of the boats. I don't know. We'd have to figure out what to do with Leia though. I don't know if I want to. Hey, Dana. Not yet. I was merely vetting locations. I was trying to see who would go where, if we were going to do it down there or not. But there is no date that has been set. We'll put it that way. Frank says Eki probably took BPC 150 with zinc. That will give you a positive on a test result. Whatever he took, how do you not run it by the team? That's the part I just don't understand. Like, with everything at stake, How do you, and if the answer to why he didn't run it by the team is he knew it was something there, why take it? You know you're going to get P tested. Vincent, yeah, yes, yes, which is why I need to know I can afford to do it. Right? You know, I don't know. I don't know about the open bar. Right? Half of you aren't even old enough to drink anyway, right? That'd save me some money. True story. When I got married, the only time I got married, we were going to just go elope. And my parents were like, no, 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 no. We're having a wedding. So we had a wedding at TY Park in Hollywood. And my mom insisted that they buy the food for the wedding, right? And we had like 60, 70 people coming. And we were going over the food with my mom, and she had ordered 17 of the little hens, like the little teeny tiny hens. And I'm like, Mom, that's not going to be enough food. It's just not going to be enough food. I don't want, because we had a lot of, young guys coming, you know what I mean? And so we agreed on 30 of them. But then what she did, because she was a smart ass, was she, instead of getting 30 of the hens, the little hens, she got 30 full-size chickens. And everybody had chicken in their freezer for months afterwards because she had overbought so much chicken. Like, Mom, you said there were going to be hens. She just laughed at me. She's like, well, you got enough chicken now, don't you, son? So, what did Lil J say? Hold on a second. Because he wanted to be on the ice, right? So Silva says the emergency of Mackey is crazy. At the beginning of the season, we weren't sure if he'd stay in the fourth or get sent down. Now he's endeared himself to Maurice and has almost 30 points. Yep. Lil J says he wanted to stay on the ice so badly, he defied a team and just got caught. Right. Yeah, Mackey is going to he's going to be he's at least going to be a 30-goal guy. He's going to be like if Verhaeghe was a complete player and didn't get married and lose his swag. Rosado, do I have any like young relatives under the age of 20? No, I don't. None of my kids have kids, right? None of my kids have kids. My sister doesn't have any kids. So it's the family tree is just face planting into the wall. The only hope of any little Jawses running around is if I get stupid and knock up a cheerleader, or if my daughter has a kid, and I know I ain't knocking up any cheerleaders. 58. What happened? Oh yeah, my mom. She did. No. Mike says just go to the courthouse and sign all the papers. Forget all the extra hoopla. I want to do it as something fun. You know what I mean? I want to do it as an experience. That's all. That's it. It'd be fun to go down there and do it. I got to get back down there at some point anyway. But I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it if it's a major hardship. Finances would have to change for sure. Yeah, Mackey does play good D. Yep. Get Kyle a girlfriend. He doesn't have any interest. Cade says one day Verhaeghe had his skin stolen and demanded his wife give him sugar water. That's the issue. It's true. I mean, it's just, now the good news is if it's just the funk, he could snap out of it for the playoffs. Or somehow we need to start a movement where none of the wives give the guys any sex during the playoffs. Oh, you growing a playoff beard? No sex. And you have to grow the playoff beard. So no sex until the playoff beard is gone. I think that might help. That might help. Lil J, I hope Swagger will be back for the playoffs and not surprised for his no-show act in the regular season. Yeah. Well, you think Sam Skevich's fast players on the team? I think so. I would have to agree with you. Bennett's pretty fast. But I don't. I think you're right about Sam Skevich for sure. Silva says, I don't know if Sam is the fastest. Who else would it be? Vincent says, I know smart players don't boom boom in the playoffs. Yeah, you gotta be angry. You gotta be mad. Right? I didn't have sex the whole last playoffs. So that's not happening this year, though. That's definitely not happening this year. At least I don't, I don't have to go through Colin. I don't have to go through with the dog again. So it says Erod, Bennett, and maybe Forsling. Huh. Erod's pretty quick. It's hard to tell. Forsling is just such a smooth skate. Forsling's pretty fast, though. It's a good point. When he's had to really book it, he's pretty fast. Mike says Swaggy's having an off year, but somehow still has 5-game winners. Like last year, he had 7. Oh, you think Boquist is the fastest? Yeah, we kind of left him out. Has Boquist scored a goal since he signed his contract? Mythical Riz. What were you saying? Let me see. What were you saying up here? Oh, you're talking about at Frank's. Oh, athletes that get caught with the substance. Yeah. Yeah, Barkov is fast when he wants to, right? Oh, you're cooking the Detroit-style pizza? That sounds good. Yeah. I haven't had a carb in a while. I haven't had pizza or anything like that in a while. That sounds pretty good. Boquist has been hanging with Weeks at the strip bar since the contract. Oh, jeez. He's only got 17 goals? Damn, man. He's only sitting there with 17 goals? Yeah, I appreciate that, YouTuber. I didn't even realize that. That's terrible. And Reinhardt stopped scoring too. Silva says, Forsing's a perfect cup contending at number 1D. Works hard, gives an honest 60-minute effort, knows his place in the system, is compatible with most of the other defensemen in the system. Agreed. One wild and crazy guy says, the thing with Ekblad, it might be a blessing in disguise. He's so injury prone that whatever he's dealing with now in terms of injury will hopefully be healed up for the playoffs. Yeah. I mean, I guess he used it to come back from the injury so fast. Damn. It's just hard. I mean, I know he did it. I know he's not like some innocent choir boy, but it's just like, it's so hard to believe that somebody would, with everything that's on the line. Like, what if he would have been tested with like a week left in the season and he would have been out for almost all the playoffs? Yeah, what in the world do we pay an aging Ekblad? Oh, maybe we're just not going to pay him. Like, because Frank is right in the sense that if you pay Bennett, either way, once you pay Bennett, I mean, it's possible that just grabbing Jones was just the message to Ekblad to say, hey, you're going to be second pairing, bottom pairing. It's hard to know. Mike says Ekblad's mistake was a big one and not a common mistake. I'd be upset if I were management. They have every right to be upset. Well, yeah, I agree. It's just to knowingly not bring the stuff to the team under these circumstances. Yeah, I mean, like nobody's been caught by it for anything in years, right? It's just a shame. Yeah, boneheaded and selfish. Unfortunately, I have to agree. And Silva says Jones Forsling is not a replacement for Ekblad Forsling. I don't disagree. It's weird because Jones's game is similar to Ekblad, but I would like Jones to be on that second pair with Mikkola. But then what do you do with Ekblad? Like, how do you give Ekblad? What do you do? Who are you going to put there? Yeah, Nate Schmidt was the last guy to get caught. It's not a good look. I know. I know. Sunshine said maybe Ekblad took PEDs to compete with Jones. Well, it was so early on. I think that he took it because otherwise he wouldn't have been able to come back from the injury, maybe even before the trade deadline. I just wonder if part of his consideration was that he didn't want the Panthers to bring in somebody at the level that he could be replaced, right? I mean, if you're Ekblad, you can't want Seth Jones on the team unless you're that unselfish, because with Jones's contract, the money for Ekblad dried up. Mike says the perfect contract to place for Ekblad moving forward is in Florida for $4 to $5 million for 4 more years. Anything else is going to be an overpay and not a good situation for the player. And keep it in with Forsling, Mike. Keep him with Forsling. I mean, he was playing well, but of course, how much of that was because of whatever it was he was taking. Vincent says Sam Miskevich is in the 89 percentile top speed. Rodriguez, 83. There you go. And, once they put Rodriguez with Barkov last night, he disappeared too. I kept asking. I was like, did he get hurt? Yeah, exactly, Mike. Forcing high Ekblad's slow foot speed. Yeah. Forsling's the one that's underpaid. I can't believe we got him for that cost. See, that dude wants to win, obviously. So give Bennett what he wants. And don't forget, we got to sign Sam Miskevich. I know he's an RFA, but you don't want to play too cheap with him. He's really proven that, especially if we sign Bennett. I mean, a Bennett, Kachuk, Sam Miskevich line for the next few years is going to kill. Nirmax says Ekblad will get 8.5 on the market. Whew. Yeah, that's too much. I mean, he's got to know he would make more elsewhere, right? Mike says the Rangers will give Ekblad a max contract. That'll be kind of like when we took Yandel. It wasn't a max contract, obviously, but didn't we trade a pick or something for the rights to negotiate with Yandel? Am I remembering that correctly? We made a trade for the rights to negotiate with him. I seem to remember something like that. It was so long ago. Yeah, I mean, if the Rangers think Ekblad is going to solve their problems, go ahead. Go right ahead. Well, what do we got? Yep. All right. I'm going to get ahead and roll here real quick. Donna's still here, so I want to get some time with her before she has to leave. Silva says, I think Forsling secretly got paid double than what goes against the cap. It's just that half of what's paid in sunshine, pub subs, and extra fluffy beach towels, right? The defenseman free agent market is, yeah, near Mac. I've seen breakdowns, and they list Ekblad as the top defenseman on the free agent market. So there's that. All right, yep, Mike. Peace out. All right, everybody. We'll see you in a few hours, 7:30 tonight against the Isles. Hopefully the real Panthers show up. I don't know what that was last night, but none of us are interested in watching that again. Yep. All right, guys. We'll see you tonight.